Movies usually get this wrong. We're told slipping into the grip of a collapsed star means the lights simply go out, a quick demise. But the reality of a descent is drawn out, physically excruciating, and completely alien to anything we experience on Earth. The engine driving this process is gravity taken to its absolute maximum. A black hole is a region where mass is packed so tightly that the gravitational pull overrides every other force in the universe. This 2D simulation shows how absolute that trap is. The downward pull is so immense that even a ray of light, traveling at 186,000 miles per second, curves violently inward and is swallowed entirely. Since no illumination can ever bounce back out to warn us, we are left totally blind to what occurs inside. The dread comes from knowing your biology will be subjected to immense physical forces, hidden forever in the dark. The descent officially begins at the event horizon. This invisible boundary separates the chaotic interior of the collapse from the rest of the visible universe. Drifting even a fraction of a millimeter past this specific line locks your trajectory. Your path forward becomes a one-way street, marking the absolute point of no return. As you cross, your body encounters a severe gradient in physical forces. The strength of the gravitational tug increases drastically over incredibly short distances. This diagram illustrates how that gradient applies to a human body. Falling feet first, the downward pull on your shoes becomes exponentially stronger than on your head. Because your feet accelerate inward significantly faster, you begin physically stretching out. The gravitational differential literally pulls you apart. Astrophysicists call this literal dismantling process spaghettification. You aren't flattened against a hard surface. You are torn into a microscopic stream of matter, disassembled atom by atom, long before you ever reach the center of the void. Yet that violent physical reality is completely invisible to anyone watching you from a safe distance outside the horizon. Extreme gravity exerts a heavy toll on the flow of time itself. As the gravitational field intensifies, time passes more slowly relative to the outside universe, a phenomenon called time dilation. Instead of watching you plummet rapidly, a distant observer watches your descent decelerate. To them, your movements drag and slow to an absolute crawl. As you near the event horizon, the watcher sees your visual image completely freeze in place. You appear suspended against the aggressively warping starfield. Over a long period, the faint light reflecting off this frozen optical illusion stretches, dims, and eventually fades entirely into nothingness. But for you, time hasn't slowed at all. You experience the tearing force of spaghettification in what feels like completely normal time. The extreme mass breaks the consensus of our shared reality. A single physical event splits into two completely contradictory timelines, a peaceful static illusion for the watcher and a violent physical dismantling for the victim. If we trace that stream of dismantled matter past the boundary, deep into the core, we hit a literal wall in our understanding of the cosmos. This 3D grid visualizes the geometric center, the singularity. All mass the whole has consumed funnels downward and is violently crushed together at this specific point. It is a point of infinite density. The mass of stars is compacted beyond measurement, taking up zero volume. At this exact location, our equations output nonsense. The strict laws of physics, mathematics, and human understanding completely break down and stop functioning. The destruction of a human body is certain, but what happens to the raw data of that matter at the absolute boundary remains a massive philosophical blank spot. Falling into a black hole exposes us to an environment entirely decoupled from the rules of everyday existence. We are forced to look at a mechanism so extreme, it proves the universe is significantly more complex and terrifying than the reality we experience on Earth.